All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Garrison here from 725 Outdoors, and we are 9 Tuesdays away from the opening of deer season here in southeastern Kentucky. So a lot of us may or may not have our hunting bows set up right now. And that is why I wanted to come on here and actually make a video series that will be posted every single Tuesday that will be like a little walkthrough on how I'm setting up my hunting bow. This right here is the Obsession Ultra Mag 360 from Obsession. We've got a QAD Integrate MX2 rest. We've got an Excel sight bar. We've got a specialty peep, UltraView pin sight housing with a 3-pin, and then we've got the Ramrods 15-inch on the front, and I think 12.5 on the back. So at the moment, my stabilizers are 2 ounces and 1 ounces on the front, set at right at 71 pounds of draw. 80 or 79% holding weight with this bow, so you guys can do the math in the comments. Shooting at about 29-inch draw length, and this is our bow. Right now, this right here is not set up. This is not sighted in. This right here is just everything through together, and we are going to go step by step on how to set up your bow from the absolute very beginning, from pulling it out of the box to shooting at 100 yards in groups. So let's just hop right into it. Okay, let's start from the absolute very beginning. You take the sight, you take the bars off of the bow, you take the rest off of the bow, pull the bow out of the box. What do you have? You have a bare bow with absolutely nothing. I will tell you right now, everything I'm about to tell you in part 1, this right here is fully on where to start and what to do when you first get a brand new bow or you're first setting up your bow for hunting season. I highly recommend either going off of last year's build and adjusting accordingly, checking tunes and stuff, unless you just want to completely rebuild it and redo it yourself, which is completely fine. So, pulling it out of the box, you have a bare bow. Let's picture in our minds that this bow right here has nothing on it. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and tell you to do is, if you have a bow press, put the bow in the press. The next thing that I'm going to tell you guys to do is go get a tape measure, a ruler, something of some sort, and I want you to I'm going to come up close that way you can see this. These little axle screws right here in this specific bow model, it's different from every bow, Mathews is different, but these are the axle screws. You're going to take the one end of your tape measure and you're going to start it in the middle of this. You're going to go down, you're going to go down to your bottom cam and you're going to do the axle screw right here in the bottom. Then you are going to take that total ATA number. Do not go off of the number that is put on the website. Measure for yourself. Measure for yourself and then take that number and divide it by 2. Now, this is, if some of y'all know where I'm going with this, this is something I did learn from watching Levi Morgan. But we're not throwing it in the middle and throwing a knocking point onto it, because that's not what we do here. So the first thing that you're going to do is get that number, divide it by 2. Then you are going to find that number. You're going to put that tape measure back on the axle screws, and you're going to pretty much put it along the middle. Whatever that number is, you're going to find it, and then you're going to put a little Sharpie mark where that number is, and you're going to tie you to a D-loop over top of the Sharpie mark. That is step 1. That is where that's ground zero. No rest, no sights, no stabilizers, nothing. That is ground zero. No peep, nothing. The second step, now I do have my peep already in. I do have it tied in. I'm not sure that it will be the final product. It will be in the final position that it's in. I've had this bow set up previously for something different than hunting in between seasons. So, next up, you're going to break your bow down with the press. You're going to push the limbs in, and you're going to put you in a peep. Just go ahead and throw it in there. Just get you a little rough little spot. What I want you to do is actually just tie the D-loop in, not fully, but just wrap you a few strands around the outside of the loop right here. So right here, as you can see, that strand that is going right through there, what you're wanting to do is you're just going to tie some simple knots around this peep, and then that is going to be your starting point. Next step is actually probably one of your second most important. I don't know what rest you folks shoot. I don't know what you guys like. Maybe you guys like a more integrated system and you like the bridge lock stuff, you like the Picatinny rails. If you do, completely fine. It's whatever you guys prefer. But I'm running the Ultra Rest Integrate MX2 by QAD. If you guys want these products, go to their link in the description below. I'm telling you, from my personal experience out of Dropaways, this is my favorite one on the market. So I want to go ahead and tell you, open the box, read the instructions, slap it right on here. Now see, the Obsession actually has the Integrate system where you can put it right here. This is my step one, and I'm actually going to show you a little demonstration because this bow is not set up for these arrows right now. Yes, I only have 3 arrows in my quiver. Also, I'm currently using my target archery gear to hold my arrows. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys to do is, if you don't have a leveling kit, use your eyeballs. Listen, just get it as close as possible. Realistically, before we go to the paper, get it as close as possible. And I will show you why. This is very crucial steps. Number one, get this as close as possible with your eyes, unless you have a leveling kit, then and you can level it. But I have honestly always just eyeballed my arrows and my rest, and I have got it so ridiculously close that it's been like a few moves and boom, perfect bullet hole. So I've really never had no problem out of my rest and doing this technique. But if you have the leveling kits, go ahead, put it on the vise, level it, get it as close as possible. But we're not going to go shoot the paper yet. For all the ones who's going to eyeball this, let me show you what I'm talking about. And now guys, this is very hard to show on camera, so keep in mind. When I look down my arrow, I'm knocking my arrow in. I do not have a knocking point. This is very crucial. You don't have a knocking point. I'm going to look down my arrow shaft, and what can I see? Well, right now, when I look down and I keep and I'm looking like level with the string, because if you do this, you're going to get it pretty daggone close. That way that once you put it behind the paper, it's going to be very simple, very quick. So I'm looking at a very, very hard tail right tear. I guess that will be the right terminology to say, because my fletching will be tearing towards the right and my points will be hitting towards the left. Maybe I got that backwards. Not necessarily sure. I'm going to try to figure out how in the world to show you guys this. Maybe you can see us, maybe you can't. So when you kind of look at it, it's very, very tricky. This is very hard to do. But if you can tell, my point right here is facing opposite from the bow riser. Now, when you're trying to get a perfect bullet hole to start, now guys, if you want a bare shaft tune, I'm just going to go ahead and stop you and just say I do not bare shaft tune. If you want to watch other videos, you can integrate it. This whole setup tutorial, this is actually probably after you do this right here, that would probably be the next step besides of sending it through the paper with a fletch shaft. So, like I said, I don't even know, maybe you can see it a little bit better this way. I'm not very, very sure, but it's very tricky to see. But my arrow is like this. It's literally like turned to the left. So I know that I'm going to need to move my rest over to the right. That way I can bring my shaft on over. The adjustment screw, actually, it is right there. So we're going to loosen this, and we are going to adjust accordingly. I'm actually going to move this all the way back over to 1. What I'm going to do actually is put my arrow back in and just eyeball it from here. Because like I said, guys, this is your starting point, not your finish point. Okay, I'm actually going to say that right where it's at is near perfect with my eyes. Now, folks, like I said, I'm just starting. This is just a starting point. So now, when we've moved this over, we're going to go back and look, and we're going to see, hey, okay, is it pretty close? It's pretty daggone close. I don't even know how to show you guys this now, but it is nearly straight. And I try to eyeball with the string because, guys, we are looking for a perfect bullet hole, and left and rights, you do want to eliminate those. I do have a right helical, so I will say this, folks. If you do not have arrows yet, if you've done got your arrows bought, that's fine. If you got them fletched, that's fine. But if you have bare shafts, if you've not fletched arrows yet, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and tell you to do, I'm going to put a link up right now in one of these parts of the video, and it will show you guys about left or right helical. If your bow clocks right, helical it to the right. If it clocks left, helical it to the left. It's just a forgiveness thing. I don't think that it's top tier tuning, but I think it does help just a little bit. And when we are speaking whitetails and kill shots, we do not want to make the mistake of missing these deer because of this, because of something that we could have done to help prevent this. So, next step, we've got this eyeballed. Now, the next step, I guess technically, D-loop adjustments. Folks, listen, this is something that a lot of people know it does not do, and I don't know why. I don't know how you have a bow, a tournament bow, a hunting bow, or anything, and you do not do this. Now, guys, listen, I'm no pro archer. I'm not Levi Morgan. I'm not Dan McCarthy, but I have had my fair share of decent scores, and I've killed a doe and a buck with a bow. Now, you don't have to have a great tuned bow to kill a deer, but in tournaments, accuracy and the little things is everything. So this right here took my setup from like right here to like right here, and it sure will take yours too. And I believe that everybody needs to implement this in their system, in their bow. Some people in some videos is going to say, do this at 10 yards. Maybe. I actually, personally, this is my opinion, folks. You guys can have your own. I like going back to, if I was shooting a tournament class that was max 45 yards, I'm going back to 45 yards. If my max is 70 yards, I'm going back to 70 yards. I'm going to go and test this as far back as I possibly can because I want my bow to naturally hold itself as still as possible. And D-loop, I call this D-loop tuning. What we're going to do is we're going to draw back, anchor in, put our pin on the target, watch our pin float. If it's too much and it's not steady enough just with these little bit of ounces of weight, what we're going to do is we're going to move it a different way. We're either going to move it down or we're going to move it up. Sometimes you hit it right on the head, but what's most importantly, this is why we don't tie knocking points on yet, because we have not figured out where our D-loop needs to be. So this right here is the next step, and come along with me as we do this. We are back here at 64 yards. Now, folks, this is not my max, but 64 yards, that's a pretty daggone long shot. And what are we thinking here? We're thinking whitetails. We're not thinking tournaments, we're thinking whitetails. Or elk, or mule deer, antelope, bear, whatever you're feeling. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure my arrow's knocked in. I'm not shooting. We're not shooting here. I'm going to draw back. I'm going to look through my peep. And I'm going to look and see how does my pin hold. If it holds good, if it holds steady, then we're fine. You can play, but I do recommend not just go and say, oh my gosh, this looks good enough. Let's go with it. No, play with it. Move it up, move it down, move it. You move it one way to go down the string, move it another way to go up the string. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that it does hold decent. It is not where I want it to. So considering how my arrow is already up so high, I'm actually going to move my D-loop down the string. Now listen, a little bit goes a long ways. Remember how you moved it. If you start getting worse movements, please remember how to fix these movements as well. It's pretty crucial here, folks. Draw back. Aim. Okay. Personally, I think that was better pin movement. My pin was more of a, I'm going to try to use, I don't even know if you guys can see this, but my pin was more of just a steady kind of float, steady kind of bounce, not much, but I am going to move it down one more. This, in my opinion, is just step one. I think this is ground zero here, folks. I mean, this could be, in my opinion, taking your bow from shooting decent to, my gosh, this bow can absolutely hammer. Because remember, folks, we're all just trying to make our own bows shoot great. Okay, so I'm going to say that that right there was actually probably the best it's been. But folks, sometimes it is good to test it until it's worse. Therefore, that's why we're testing it again. You want to keep moving it. If it starts getting worse, go back to where you was. Whew, that was worse. Now I know, guys, your bars, moving them ever so often will adjust it, can help this, but we're not to that step yet. So I'm actually going to go back up, moving it back up one, and if I really like this, then guess what? Here is our little spot, and also we've got ourselves down the string a little bit more too to help us make paper tuning just a little bit faster. Let me try one more time. I'm going to call that our clear winner of the night. Let's go back up to the light. So that right there, folks, is really just to minimize your movement naturally without doing anything to the stabilizers. Now granted, folks, this bow is a sub 4-pound bow. This is super light bow. More stabilizer weight for myself will help this bow drastically. So we have got our rest eyeballed. We have got our D-loop tuned pretty much up and down to where we want it. Now the next step I'm going to say now, if you have it where you want it and you feel confident in that very spot, what I'm going to actually tell you to do is go ahead, go back inside and tie you a knocking point. Tie a knocking point because, folks, I'm telling you, it's very, very crucial. You do not want to paper tune without a knocking point. If you're the type of person who thinks 2 knocking points, one on top and one on the bottom, is better, all power to you. I am opposite. I don't necessarily have a reason why. I have just seemed to find better results in my bow and in my setup whenever I am shooting just a single knocking point underneath my nock. That's completely up to you guys. All right, everybody, so this right here will pretty much wrap up our first episode of our tuning our hunting bows, getting it set up from absolute ground zero, from scratch. Like I said, folks, the next step, and I'll go ahead and tell you this right now, that because everybody pretty much knows how to tie a knocking point. If you don't, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. You can pretty much choose your own way. Here's a little tip: burn it and then take a little dab of some fletching glue or super glue and put on that little burnt spot. It will help stay in place a little bit better. So in the next video, we will come back and we will paper tune, and then we will actually start our, I guess technically we do walk back tuning. Walk back tuning is not something fancy. It's as simple as just sighting in your bow, and then we will pretty much go from there. There is going to be very, very crucial videos that you guys will not want to miss. That little secrets, not little secrets, but just little tips, little tricks, just like the D-loop Now, guys, you can run more ounces on your bow, on your stabilizer starting out if you want to do maybe like a 2 and 5, 2 on the front, 5 on the back, or if you want to do more or less, or honestly, I'm just doing a little bare minimum amount of weight on my stabilizers because right now I'm not worried about my stabilizers. We will have a video dedicated to it here coming up here in the few weeks shortly. So that right there will be it, folks, for the very first episode. Make sure you guys start this out. Make sure you guys do this. Now go back in after this video, tie in that nocking point, and if you want to go ahead and paper tune, that is great. Go ahead and paper tune if you don't want to wait for next week's video when we will do a full paper tune on this bow. We're fully setting this bow up step by step. I'm not going ahead and setting this thing up as bad as I want to set this thing up fully and have this done within the next few weeks. This is something that I actually am going to stick through and just go video by video. Now, folks, this is very crucial. This sight, I have went ahead and leveled it. If you want to go ahead before, if you've not went out and set up your bow yet and you're still watching this video, if you want to go ahead, take your sight off, or however you level your sight, however you get your first, second, third axis, all power to you. Go ahead and do that. Just get it out of the way. We will talk about it in a later video when we start sighting our bow in pretty much the next video. We will hit this. If you guys want some great products, great archery products, and great stabilizers from a phenomenal company, make sure you guys click our link down in the description below and check out Ramrod's stabilizers. This is the Wrath series. If you are a tournament shooter as well, they do have multiple choices. They have multiple options, some more budget friendly, some more very, very expensive, whatever you guys prefer. Make sure you guys go check out QAD. Maybe you guys have seen it through the video, but Mountain Ops. Click our link down in the description below. Get yourself 20% off of Mountain Ops and also save yourself some money when you use our link for Ramrods as well. So make sure you guys go click our links down in the description, Mountain Ops, Ramrods. Go click on Nose Down Deer Scents to get prepared for this coming deer season, folks. Thank you guys so much for checking out this week's video. If you all are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video. Come back for the following weeks of setting up this bow right here, and we will get you guys all lined out. So hit the subscribe button, like this video, turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss next week's video, and I will see you folks in the next one.